All right, let's get to mine. Too high. And this one kills me to do if you're watching the YouTube stream and see my shirt right now, or just know anything about me, because Green Bay Packers are number 2. I love this team. I'm very excited about this team. Number 2 is just so high for me.
That sketches you out.
It's because, as a Packers fan, ever since the Super Bowl, every year I think the defense has turned a corner. They don't. They flat out have never had that defense to complement the offense. The offense has been there. And as much as I think the talent's there, I mean, every first round, so many first rounders on this defense, every single level of the defense, just chock full of them. I have to believe it. I have to see it before I believe it. I just have to see it before I believe it with the Packers.
But getting rid of their defensive coordinator, replacing him with Jeff Hafley.
It should be a huge upgrade, right?
Because they're going to be much more aggressive. They're going to play a lot more press man on the outside. Those guys are built for it. If Stokes is on the field, they're certainly built for it. Getting McKinney on the back end is enormous. I think, the defensive line, those guys will go up the field now much more. I think, the 2 pass rushers will be that much better.
As tough and out
and,
as there is in
and
football.
Smith is a big physical body. They can go up the field. You got good interior players. The concern right now is the linebackers, because they're banged up a little bit there, and the rookie hasn't kind of done his job yet. So there is concern to the linebacker. But I think they're going to be much better because of style of play. Plus, they're going to play with the lead a lot. Mm-hmm. I think the offense is going to be fantastic. Remember, and you know this, they didn't play together as wide receivers at all last year. Watson was out, in and out. They were all
in modern NFL history.
A bunch of babies out there getting tuds downtown Julie Brown City.
It's going to be awesome to watch with those receivers and the tight end, by the way, who's going to be a big time player.
The second iteration as a starter of Jordan Love. What is it going to look like when we see him with success behind him? Yeah, the encore. There you go. The second installment of the trilogy.
But we say that all the time about him, but why don't we say that about C.J. Stroud?
We've said
I've been gassing up the Texans. I thought if I were doing too low,
things could look maybe not as good this year.
It's a legitimate question for both of them because we've only seen them for 1 year.
Dude, that's the reality of the league we play. These guys don't sit around with their thumbs in their butts all day. They take a look at the film once, they watch it a dozen times, and by the end of that dozen, they make all the notes. They know exactly when you're going to itch your face. They know when they know when you had gas. So for C.J. Stroud, it's going to be beating that scouting report. And for Jordan Love, it's going to be living up to the expectations of having a guy like Pete Prisco throwing number 2 on their damn power rank.
By the way, you would both agree with this, that what Jordan Love was better in the postseason than C.J. Stroud was.
Yeah, Jordan Love was fabulous.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
That matters.
And also with Love, it's like no expectation is going to be as high as what he had last year. Like everyone's saying it's like contract year with... Yep. Or that wasn't necessarily contract.
You mean pressure? The pressure.
Yeah, the pressure. Yeah. Like no pressure is going to compare to what he had to do.
Year. Last year was an impression year. This is an expectation year. So last year it was like, what impressions are you going to make on us this year? Are you able to match the expectations that guys like myself and Pete and Mike have put out there on the table in front of you? And that's what we're going to wait to see. But that offense, young, they'll keep growing. Obviously, Hafley's defense will make them a barbed group. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
So you know where you are right now? You're that kid at Christmas. I'm not going to get that present. I know I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. And you know it's going to come.
I just wanted Pete to talk me into it. I want my photo football. I want my Xbox. I know I want it. I'm not going to get it though. I'm not going to get it. I've been burned before. I've burned too many times. Yeah, with high expectations. But I can get on board. All right, my too low. Seattle Seahawks. Yeah. 24th.
We agree here.
This one just stuck out like a sore thumb to me, not only because I think they're going to be great this year, just because I think they were better than 24th last year.
Yes.
Flat out. They went 9-8 last year, were thought to be a playoff team until they faltered down the stretch. And there's a lot of places where they got better. One, I think, at defense coordinator, where I think Mike McDonald was the class of the league last season with what he did that Baltimore defense, bringing that over. I think the secondary should be better considering they were all extremely young a year ago. I think this offensive line at least can't be worse, right? I still worry about the injuries that they have up front. Abe Lucas on the NFI list already, going to miss the first 4 games at right tackle. They added some reinforcements there, though. I just don't see why this team takes a big step back, because 24th to me would be a step back.
When you get this new DC and one who is as storied as McDonald, and you know what his defensive units have been about, if I'm on the offense in Seattle, I'm already happy about our group. I already think we have the skill to get it done on the outside, and we've got the quarterback and get them the football. You couple that now with a defense who can legitimately keep us in football games, who can create takeaways, who can put the pressure on opposing offenses. I think we got a chance to win every single week if I'm the Seahawks.
But okay, let's go to that division. The 49ers are the best team.
Yep.
The Rams are the second best team.
I think about the NFC West. I throw all records out the window. In those
but if you had to pick it right now, they're the 1-2 teams in the
Trent Williams just landed in the
I would pick the Seahawks over the Rams. I think
You
the
would?
Rams
Oh, I
defense
wouldn't.
has serious questions.
Rams is
You lost your DC and you
3.5.
lost the best.
I
player
agree with
of all.
that. I agree with that. But okay, you have an unknown Mike McDonald. You know what you have in Sean McVay. That's a big advantage for them. You also talk about their offensive line. There are major issues on that offensive line. I mean, both teams have issues on the offensive line. But who's rushing the passer in Seattle? Who's going to be the dominant? You're counting on Mike
Mafe.
McDonald manufacturing the pass rush like he did in Baltimore.
Is it Mafe?
Boy Mafe.
I've been saying Mafe for the last.
So again, but that he's going to have to manufacture because they don't have a guy that puts his hand on the ground and goes against you 15 seconds.
They're going to give him the green light to pin his ears back and rush the passer because they will be throwing the football down the field at will in Seattle.
But Baltimore didn't have like the guy either. Madubuike, now Nnamdi Madubuike, was like their closest thing to that, but they just did it by
right, like Van Noy and Clowney. Those guys all had
Draymond Jones with Byron Murphy, with Boye Mafe, with
the strength is in the unit, Pete.
Auburn.
The strength is in unit. It's not a star. It's not a star-driven group. It's a group that relies on the unit. I really believe that.
And it's a first-time coach, which you don't know what he's going to do.
But there's different types of great defenses. You and I both know.
Yeah.
I was in 2018 with the Bears. It was Hicks, Akeem Hicks, Eddie Jackson, Khalil Mack. You run down the roster. It's all Pro Bowlers. I've been part of units before that don't have as many Pro Bowlers that are just as good because they play together and they're well coached.
I will say the NFC West, I think, is a very interesting division to see shake out.
Because Arizona's going to be
better. Arizona's like
they're going to be
fun.
We really didn't see what they were because Kyler missed the most.
And they beat some good teams last year, and they played some really good teams.
I think they're a year away. I think watch out for Arizona next year, but they're going to be tough and feisty in every single game this year.
100% agree.
I love feisty.
All right, my last one, the Goldilocks one. Tennessee Titans at 21. I think a lot of people are picking them as like number one overall pick contenders. A lot of people don't think this is a team that can, even hang with the likes of the Colts, the Texans, Jaguars in that division. I don't think they get last in that division. I truly don't. Talent-wise, I think they are even better outside of, take quarterback out of it. The rest of that roster, I think it's better than Jacksonville's right now. But it's just, obviously, Trevor Lawrence versus Will Levis. But I think Will Levis, what we saw last year, given the situation.
Loved it.
It was super encouraging.
See, I disagree with you on the roster comparison to Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville's better roster, but I think Will Levis. I'm a big believer in Will. I think Will Levis got the Josh Allen treatment coming out of Kentucky, and I think he's going to be a star.
They wrote him off based on where he played.
In fact, if I were the Bears this week, I'd be concerned about that a little bit.
I'm more concerned about those two interior pass rushers for the Titans.
I mean, Sweat is just pushes that pocket and makes Jeffrey Simmons is lighter than he's ever been. He looks great. I mean, they're going to get after it. Arden Key didn't get suspended. He can rush the passer. Look, the talent isn't better than Jack. You could argue that the right side of the offensive line has major issues.
O-line's an issue for sure, but I think his defense is going to kick some butt this year, and I like what they did with their secondary. L'Jarius Sneed, adding him to the
Awuzie,
so good.
Chidobe
Awuzie, and then obviously Roger McCreary, one of the better slot corners. Like I think that's
a good group. It's a good
defense.
They got to rush the passer. That's going to be the one thing on them. And by the way, Wilson's a great defensive coordinator. Everybody you talk to loves him. He's going to be a head coach in this league. So I'm with you on Titans. In fact, it wouldn't shock me to see any. I think all those teams in that division are going to be around 9, including the Texans are going to be around 9 wins, 8 wins. And somebody's going to win it by beating the other.
I think the Texans. I think they get to the front, but I do agree the rest of those other 3 teams, I think, really beat themselves up and kind of get into a mix of 8, 9 wins. So
Texans' schedule is brutal, though, if you look at it. I mean, really tough.
But that team is just so loaded. I don't know.